Hi, everyone. As we enjoy our season break, I wanted to bring you this episode that I did with Kris from her podcast, Out With Kris. It is a bit more mum-centric, so apologies to our dad listeners. Kris's audience is a lot more female-heavy. In this conversation, we talk about toddler tantrums, mum fails, and how we're handling essentially life as mothers. I hope you enjoy it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Inside Out. I have the beautiful Leonie from the Parenthood Pod on today. She is a mama of two, and she is here to talk all things with me surrounding mum fails, but they're not really failures. They're actually great, but we're going to chat a little bit more, and I'm sure that you will relate to all of this with us. So how are you, Leonie?
I'm good. So excited to be here and talk about all my successes in parenthood.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to start. So if you have little ears around you, I suggest you put your headphones in because swearing is coming up. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my son, my beautiful darling son, now says, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? And when you ask him to stop, he says, what the shit, what the shit? And then if you ask him to stop that, it changes to what the heck, what the heck? And I'm just like, am I failing? What have I done? Help me.
And does he say that at school? Like, my whole thing goes to, like, where else are they saying these words? And like, oh my God, other parents and teachers are going to hear and think, far out, what is going on in that house?
So it started when daycare said, Jesse's been saying what the fuck today. And I was like, he's never said that before. So no, he just wouldn't start that today because no other kids would be saying it around him, right? So it's like, I kind of defended it and I was like, no, he might be saying what the duck. Like, I know that he's heard the words what the heck from his sisters, but he hadn't repeated it at that point. And then we got in the car and I was like fully sitting at daycare being like, no, that's not what he was saying. I'll work out what it was and let you know. Like, it's not my son. My son's not saying that. We get in the car, we're driving home, and then he goes, Mum, put on Moana. I put on Moana and he goes, oh, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, crap. Don't say that. And he goes, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh, God. What do you, because my whole thing, so my little Noah, also 3.5 years old, he says, for some reason he's picked up like shit, but he uses it like wrongly. So he's like, you shit. And I'm like what? He's like, ugh. And like when he's angry with things, he's like, you shit. And then and like huffs off. And I'm like, okay, that is like not how you use the word, but like, dude, how did you even learn that word? But yeah, my whole thing is if I draw attention to it, so I go, don't say that, I'm worried he's going to go, oh, good, that's what I'm going to say from now on to get your attention. So I'm often like, oh, no, I know. What do I usually say? I'm like, oh, no, we'll turn down the volume a little on that one. Anyway, let's go do something, and I'm trying to like distract and move on. It's not a big deal. Let's just get it. I don't know. What's your approach?
So at the start, I was like, don't speak that way. We don't talk that way. And his sisters heard him the first time and I wasn't in the room and they cracked up laughing. So that didn't help the process, obviously. Yes. Now Jesse has a thing at the moment and I believe it's just from shows, but he's scared of the police. So we have a issue with hitting at the moment with both of the little kids, and he hit Lola and he ran over to me and said, don't call the police, Mummy, don't call the police, and was crying. And I've never seen, normally when he hits Lola, he doesn't care. There's no remorse. He's like, sorry, Lola, and he just does it again, right? So we're trying to teach him to be that it's wrong. So this was probably a month ago, and I've started using that to my advantage. So with the swearing, but look, the police are going to come, Jesse. If you keep saying that, the police will come, and you'll have to go and speak to them about it. And then he's like, no. But then he's doing it again. So I don't know whether it's encouraging it, like not saying anything. Yeah. Sometimes I'm ignoring him while he says it, but he just says it louder and more. Yeah. I'm not sure. What do I do?
What do you do? Honestly, and I've had the F-bomb dropped a number of times, but my whole thing is like, we try to keep it pretty PG in our household. However, when you've stubbed your toe or you're just literally like, And then you can't, like, it just comes out, and then you like try to suck it back in, but at that point you've already dropped the bomb. And so that's when also little Noah, I know, like, it's probably my fault. My husband's better at like holding, he's like, duck is kind of our word at home. But like, I'm talking when there's a serious thing, it just kind of flies out of my mouth. So similarly, if I hear him say it, I'm kind of like, oh, Noah, no. Don't say that. Anyway, let's, and I would just, carry on. But I just don't know if there's an easy way. The other thing, I'm not sure if this is a mum fail, but something that I'm trying to deal with around, I'm just wondering about the best approach is, okay, so my little one, Noah, is very affectionate, which is great. And I don't want to bang that out of him by any means, but he's almost so affectionate that particularly with the girls at school, he's at early learning, he'll go up to them and like really want to, get up close, even when he's talking to them, and sometimes like go in for a cuddle. So we're teaching him, like, make sure you ask and the teacher's always sort of reinforcing that you don't just go up to someone and like, tackle them down. You gotta ask first. But my whole thing, and so he's learning, he's asking, but sometimes I just see he just gets so excitable by his friends that he gets up really close, and some of the kids are like, ugh, and like, back off a bit. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, so I guess we have the opposite, Jesse, with when he's frustrated, he will lash out and hit. However, what I've found is that he doesn't do it off the cuff. It's usually a reoccurring thing that keeps happening, and eventually he gets really frustrated and he might like throw a toy or throw it at the child or whatever. We've had a couple of conversations with school, and I'm finding he gets super overstimulated, and that's resulting in this behavior. However, I can resonate with what you're saying. There is actually a nonverbal child in my son's class, and he's a beautiful little boy, but he has an interest in Jess and loves cuddling Jessie and being really close to him. And sometimes Jessie likes it and sometimes Jessie retaliates. So Jessie and I have just been, talking in depth of an afternoon, like if this child comes, over and wants a cuddle, cuddles are okay. But if you don't feel like one, you just say, I don't feel like a cuddle right now, but thank you. And you move on. Not that he has to be thankful for a cuddle, but just to express kindness and compassion in moments of like that. And also understanding that sometimes Jesse can be super affectionate with me and I don't want him near me. So me demonstrating that with him as well. And I think even if, a bit of unsolicited advice, I don't know if this would help at all, but even if you were like that with your son, and even times where you, like every mum loves a cuddle from their kid, right? But at times if you just demonstrated, I don't really feel like a cuddle right now, like, so he could see that at home as well, that it's totally normal, and he might understand it a little bit more frequently. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm modeling that a little bit with his sibling Charlie. So little Charlie, the 2-year-old, often I was letting it go. So Noah would go up to him and try to like, play, and Charlie would be like, no, not now, not now. And I was like, oh, just, but now that I'm very privy to this, I'm like, no, Charlie said he doesn't want to play right now. Let's walk away, Noah. You can come back later. I'm really kind of just trying to demonstrate that.
I'm the same with Jesse and Lola, and Jesse gets in his head, he wants Lola to chase him, but she never catches him. So, this game of her just chasing Jessie for an hour, she gets over really quickly, and he's like, chase me, and like throws massive tantrums. Example yesterday, throwing himself on the floor, kicking and screaming. And I was like, dude, like, it's okay. She just doesn't want to play right now. And maybe can she chase you? And he's like, absolutely not. That's not happening, Mum. Anyway, but yeah, it's modeling it. It's talking. It's being super clear. It's letting them release their feelings and being really open in the dialogue. For Jesse with the tantrums, I've been removing him from wherever we are in the house. It doesn't matter if his sisters are home or sisters aren't home. I pick him up away from Lola and Steve, and we go into another room and shut the door, and I just sit there. I sit there until he either comes to me calmly or he's physically hitting me, which has been common for Jess. And then we just talk it out. And I just say, that really hurts, Mummy, and we don't like to do that. And it's not okay to hit or use your hands. And we have those conversations, but as well as, how are you feeling? And he'll say, I feel really angry. And I said, that's okay. Like, validating those emotions as they come up too has been helpful.
Yeah, I love that you have so much patience. I'm like, when my kid tantrums, and little Charlie's the worst tantrum, it will go on for like 10 minutes. Initially I'm like, oh, Charlie, and then he'll be like, nah. on the floor screaming, kicking. I'm like, cool, look, I've got things to do. So I'm in the same room, but I'm like, yeah, mate, I'm cooking dinner. And then eventually you kind of stand up and then I'll be like, you want to give mummy a hug now? And so we'll kind of come together towards the back end. But I'm like, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Not that I don't have time. I don't have patience.
I don't either.
I'm kind of like, get over it.
I flipped the switch a little while ago and I used this opportunity as a reframe to do my deep breathing for the day when this comes up, right? So if I haven't done it in the shower that morning, I will take 4 deep breaths in, hold for 4 and breathe back out for 4. It could take 10 times, it could take 3 times, but I use that opportunity for me. Even though there's disaster and, chaos surrounding me, I find a way to make that help me and support me so that if I'm interrupted, I don't get that rise of resentment and frustration. And why do I have to be the one that does this? Why do I have to be the patient one? Why does he why can't he behave differently? Why is my child behaving like this? Rather than going through that big victim mentality, blame game and frustration of all the things I could be doing other than this, I just sit there and I just breathe in, hold, breathe out. Breathe in, hold, and breathe out. And then I feel grateful. I get to do this with my son. I get to have my son. I get to talk to my son about his behavior. What a fucking privilege that is. So many women would do anything for this moment, and I'm in the moment. So finding the gratitude in the practice as well. It's supported me through motherhood in particular when there is chaos and tantrums. With a lot of mothers, tantrums trigger or activate their own traumas. So traumas of violence, of feeling degraded, of feeling rejected. It's a rejection piece from a child to a parent, right? So all those activations come up within us. And that's when all the unresolved traumas are coming out towards our child if we're feeling that heavy resentment, right? And then we're frustrated for the rest of the night and we just want to get rid of them and go to bed. It's like, just get them to bed and I'll be happy. And then it gets to that point and you're like, oh, I've got so much to do. I need to get it all done and then I'll be happy. Oh, I'll get a good night's sleep and then I'll be happy. Oh, the other child woke me up. Okay, I'm not happy. Life ruined. It's the pile-on effect, right?
Yes. And how you reframe those thoughts, which you are obviously very good at. And also, I mean, with practice, I'm sure we could all do it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just been, I mean, with the work that you've done, you're very hyper aware of all of this stuff, but it's great for us listening and certainly for someone like myself to go, okay, this is the reminder that I needed. So tonight when the kids get home, they drive me bloody nuts. I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful. I'm lucky. And it's so true. We know this. We just sometimes get sucked into the to-do list and the other things, that we forget it. I want to hear about, okay, tell me about your worst fail or tantrum situation that was in public.
Oh, man. How long do you have? Specifically, I'm going to go. Oh, Jesse just has had so many. His tantrums are full meltdown. Lola's pretty good. All you got to say is, look, there's the birds or there's the moon. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. And she just switches off and it just works every time.
Right.
Lola's a little gem, but Jesse is loud. Yeah. He is strongly opinionated. I'd probably say when I had poo on my hand, we were in the shopping center. He had a full nappy. I needed to go and change him, but we needed to leave the park to go and change him. I had Lola in the pram and it was me on my own. Yeah. And all these, I had all these bags and I forgot my little hook for the pram so that I could hold the bags on the pram. So I had all the bags, Jesse under my hand and poo on me, right? And I'm like, fuck. What am I going to do? Oh, and I'm like, don't wake Lola. And he's like, rah, just like a crazy kid. Everyone's staring at me, no one offering to help. And I was like, and that eats sometimes because I would offer to help, see? Like, do you need a hand to the bathroom? It's just there. I'll give you a quick hand. Or if I had one kid, just throw the kid on my hip and be like, how can I help you? And then I was like, well, yous are all fucked. And I was just in this really victim headspace all the way to the toilet. I'm like, this is terrible. We are going home. And then I had to, because we have to walk past, a donut shop, an ice cream shop, this shop, that shop, all the way to the car. Yes. Then I had to negotiate my way all the way to the car through every single shop. I think that was the worst. What about you?
Mum life is fun sometimes.
Right?
So my one was actually more recently, and I think I felt a bit of shame around this. Okay, so we left the park. I'm like a little Charlie, 2-year-old's hungry. I'm going to go the fast way home. So, and Noah's like the 3.5-year-old's like, no, I want to go that way, the long way home. And I said, no, I'm sorry. So I'm sort of, I'm competing between the two of them. Charlie's pointing this way, Noah's pointing this way. I'm like, we've got to go the short way home. I don't have time for this. So I literally grab Noah and off we go. And he's already starting to kick, like he's being a bit, aggressive and just, I don't want to go this way. It's so silly. And then all of a sudden he just breaks down and he falls on the ground. He starts tantruming. So I'm sitting there going, come on, Noah, get up, get up, get up. He's not listening. And then I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. So I literally start pushing the pram with Charlie and I was like, I'll walk like 20 minutes down the road and surely he'll run after me. And that's how I'll get him home. He could just like keep dropping and then run after me and drop it. And anyway, so I walk 20 minutes down the road and he's still not following me. And then this lady's walking past with her son and then like walks past Noah. And I'm thinking, oh my God, so much judgment. She's probably like, what the hell is this mum doing? Like, pick up your child, mate. Meanwhile, I'm just like waiting, Anyway, so then Noah, as the lady walks past Noah goes, pulls at her arm, is like, my mummy, and pointing at me, being like, and I want to go this way, my mummy said, and dragging her in. So she's like, maybe just go to your mum. And then I'm there like so embarrassed, like, oh no, Noah, this way. And he's like, no, not you. And he's like talking to this like, my mummy said, I can't go this way. And I was literally dying. Anyway, so I walk back like humbly. I'm like, it's all right, I've got this. I'm like, pick up, come on, like, Noah, this way. I literally ended up carrying him under, and he's a big boy, under one arm, just kicking and screaming. He's kicked off his shoes. Charlie's now screaming because he's hungry. He doesn't understand why Noah's screaming. There's more parents walking past, and I'm literally like, I don't know how I'm going to get these kids home. It's just going to have to be under the arm, and away we go. Like, but what surprised me about that is, why did I care? Why did I care about that mum that walked past and the judgment? And I cared for like all day. I literally got home, Kris, and I cried. And I don't cry. I cried. I was like, I can't, because they're both screaming when we get home. Finally got him home. I felt like I'd done my back trying to get him home. And I'm just in tears. And I'm like, I'm such a bad parent, but what the hell do you do? Why?
Yeah. No, I get it. And the amount of times I've had two kids under my arms, like footy balls, like trying to get them through from A to B or whatever. Sometimes it comes with two almost teenage girls crying behind me as well, which is just a nightmare on its own. So yeah, no, I totally get it. And the thing is, the only reason that you're carrying that shame and that self-judgment is because the conditions that you've believed in the past have told you to, right? That doing that makes you a bad mum. I literally leave my child in McDonald's park and I get in the car and I say, see you, Jesse, and start the car. Otherwise he won't come. I was crawling through the playground. It was all wet the other day. I was soaking wet. I slipped. I hurt myself. The girls thought it was absolutely hilarious. They thought it was the best day ever because I was in like just crawling, trying to avoid the wetness of the park, and he just kept going zip, zip, and up and down and all over the places hiding from me. I said, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. I'm out and going to get in the car. So no, you're not alone. And whatever decision you're making right now or whatever thing that is happening that, you're leaving your kid for 20 meters and letting them have a tantrum on the ground, there's another mum doing that too. You're never alone. And that woman, all she would have been thinking is, do I help her or do I let this kid and her have the standoff? That's all I would have thought. Am I like crossing a boundary, this woman's boundary by helping the child? Or do I go and ask her for, like, I just would have been like, oh, what do I do? So
that's how she looked, confused. Like, and then I'm like, it's judgment. She's judging me.
No, she wasn't judging you. You were judging you. And so lean into that and ask yourself, why? Why is your opinion of yourself so strong that if you go under like a level or a line of what the expectation of motherhood means to you and what a successful mum looks like, what is that? Who is that? Who's the perfect mum? Who is she? Right? And it's okay to act instinctively and intuitively when you're punishing your child. It is okay. And give yourself that piece of like forgiveness in you and be like, cool, I don't have to hold this shame. This isn't my shame to carry. I've done nothing wrong. This is my son and my journey and my experience in motherhood, and I will handle it how I choose without apologies.
Yeah, it's so true. We are so hard on ourselves. And I think, as you said, it all stems from the way in which we were brought up. And those, did you always say the 0 to 7 years, like the first 7 years of your life? Is that where a lot of these sort of ideals around life stem from? Or how does
so
it
0 to
work?
7 are the imprint years, which essentially is where we form all limiting beliefs. So limiting beliefs surrounding fear, shame, guilt, sadness, anger, any feeling that we have surrounding something in our world. The original idea of this was discovered by us between the ages of 0 to 7. So I do some work called emotional change therapy, and one of the first sessions I did when I had this done to me, it was very interesting. We were clearing fear, and when I was clearing fear, what came up for me was an unlocked memory that I hadn't recalled in the past. This is a visualization process, just to explain it briefly. And I had a smile on my face, and I was like, why am I smiling with clearing fear? This is weird. And as it got closer to the visualization process and the words dropping in, finally I saw the picture, and the picture was me in my bed with my dog Gemma, and it was a thunderstorm, and I was 5. And my parents were still together, so I knew how old I was because they divorced when I was about 7 or 8, and I was 5, and there was a thunderstorm, but I was warm and happy because I was underneath the blankets with my dog, but I was terrified because the room was lighting up and no one could hear me yelling out. Right. But I was also happy. So super interesting the way that's where fear was formed, right? For me, and it could also have been formed earlier than that, but I didn't go further than that at that time. But really, really intriguing that our children right now, like yours and mine, are forming all their beliefs, all the codes to the rest of their lives right now.
Isn't it crazy? And I guess that's where the pressure comes from that I feel as well, in that I'm like, I don't want to fuck him up. Like, I don't want to, I want to do the best I can. And, and am I stuff? And I think I heard this quote where it's like, you're always going to, you're never going to get it right. It's a lot more eloquent than that, but it was something like, we're always going to, essentially put our imprint in our children. It's never going to be perfect. You can only do the best 100%. You can, but I don't know. I take life pretty seriously. Like, I'm a go-getter when it comes to my job, and I'm trying to, when I have a good time, I have a good time. So everything I do, it's like 130%.
Is it that achieve that your parents?
Achieve. That's exactly right. So it's like, if I'm going to have a night out, it's like, I'm on the table, achieve, like, the most hectic one out, but then like it's work, it's like 100% work. And so when it's parenthood, I'm like, okay, I think I could do this. I think I could do it perfectly. It will be fine. And, and then when I stuff up, as we're talking about these fails, it's hard to process. And I think it's just a learned lesson now, just to try to get out of that sort of, behavior and that hard, the negative talk that we all do to ourselves, every now and then. Absolutely.
And just forgive yourself, and also know, would it be okay if you did fuck your kids up a little bit? What are they going to learn from that? What resilience will they, exactly. What resilience will come in? What strengths will they have? You can't go through life creating and with a goal to create children that haven't had any experiences, and to create experiences, sometimes that comes with hurt and hardship. But what lessons come from that is strength and resilience. Like, if that's what you can create, that life experience, we're all here for a human experience, right? So if we can gift that to them, what kind of adults will we raise? Yeah. Like that's the piece for me that has just been like, it's okay if I get it a little wrong. It's okay if I get it a little right too. Either way, it's okay. It's all in the human experience. It's all in the parenting experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And often from our hardships comes our greatest strengths,
exactly.
right? I'm only as ambitious because of a certain upbringing that I had where we didn't have much. So I saw, I saw what that looked like, and therefore am ambitious now. I mean, similar to yourself, you're probably so great in the area of, the mindset and all of that because of all the work that you've done, and also from, your childhood too. So it can be our greatest strength.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. We will close out that conversation here. However, we are going to have you back monthly, I believe, which is going to be fun.
I'd love to. Yes.
So if anyone has anything you want to hear a conversation on, please send it through. You can send it through to our DMs. I will tag both of us in the show notes of this episode, because we are excited to bring you conversations around all the things that no one else is talking about, or things that you feel like you want to hear more on. So please drop in.